DJ Khaled.
Every dime is a flake.
It's the NBA on 2K Sports as we get set to bring you all the action. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. We've got an Eastern Conference battle ready to get rolling, and this New York crowd wants some love from their Knicks. Now a chance, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. The starting five on the floor. On the court for Indiana, we've got Hill. Ellis is out there with George Hill. Then it's Paul George, and it's Turner in the 5 spot.
And guys, Porzingis was almost a rookie last season, but he opted to pull out of the early entry and wait a year for this. Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful chance, too.
Carmelo Anthony showing you his passing skill there.
Hill dishes to Hill. Find it from 13 feet out.
You can't give him that shot. A few open looks are all it takes to get him in the zone.
Calderon passes to Carmelo. There's a screen. Anthony drawing the double team. In the corner, Aflalo with it. 6 to shoot. And there's the slam dunk to finish it off.
Rising up and punching it over the big man. Absolutely filthy.
Outside Hill. Pass to Turner. He kicks to Ellis. In the corner, George with it. It's picked off. Here's
Wow, that's a really smooth finish.
That's why we and they always love seeing him at the end of those breaks. He makes it look fun and easy.
Outside Hill. And here's George for 3. Can't get it to go. Anthony with the defensive effort.
You know, for the Pacers last season, with Paul George being out for most of the season, they knew it would be a struggle. They would go into lengthy dry spells that made it hard for them to keep pace in the East, in part because they missed Paul George's all-around brilliance and his offense.
The Knicks leading by 4. Lopez, a screen on Ellis. Back to Anthony. Launches it. Shot's good.
And their offense already in a flow. Some stellar shooting to jump out to this league.
Quality looks they're getting, and they're capitalizing on them, guys. They have to be happy with this start offensively.
As for those dry spells you mentioned about the Pacers, GA, they had a number of long losing streaks last season.
Yeah, as a team, they had 4 different losing streaks of 6 or more games, and they got hot at the end. Season-high win streak of 6 to stay playoff relevant. It was just too little, too late compared to their losing streaks earlier in the year.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
And a wide open look here for Ellis. That falls. Nice feed that time from George.
Yeah, poor job defensively, giving him such a clear look at the basket from three-point range. Ooh, that's as forceful a finish as you're ever going to see out of this guy.
Well, gee, it adds now to their lead in spectacular fashion.
And, you know, that lead's only going to grow if they're not prepared to defend a little more staunchly than that. Well, they weren't going to pass up that chance to get out and run following the steal.
They better not. I mean, they've got to pad their lead anytime an opportunity presents itself, and that was a golden one.
So the Pacers call timeout, their first of the game. Last season ended with the Knicks pretty much packing it in, but Clark, it didn't start out that way.
You know what? Not at all. I mean, the Knicks were picked by many, Kevin, to be a playoff team last season. Clearly, things did not go as planned.
Making a change here. Galloway's checked in. Pacers trail by 8. And George, here we go. And he banks in the layup. George has got his first points in this one.
And it became clear, thinking about the Knicks again, I mean, it made sense for a team with injuries and being in disarray on the floor to just battle for that lottery.
And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for New York.
Tell you what, guys, they're showing us a lot of energy early on and racking up those fast break points.
And also, they're jumping on a lot of turnovers, making sure they turn them into points at the other end.
Lance Thomas, he's checked in for Porzingis. Ellis can't get it to go.
You know, kind of packing it in for the sake of being better in the future can possibly work in New York for a year or two, but not longer than that. The media will eat you up there if you don't start making some progress towards winning, pleasing basketball.
Hill drives in. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Really, the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
Yeah, exactly. Prevent the layup, give them a little bump, and then maybe they'll think twice about coming into the lane next time. And if they don't think about it, at least they might be distracted by your presence.
For the Knicks, Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Lopez. Williams comes in for Anthony. And it's Jimmer Fredette in for Aaron Aflalo. Fredette kicks to O'Quinn. Stolen by George. 3-on-3. And the basket by Hill.
And that's the kind of lead pass we've come to expect from him.
Here's Galloway. First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
And I like what he did at the line a season ago. How about 81%?
And guys, the numbers don't lie. I mean, he was such a reliable presence at the free throw line all throughout last season.
The basket's coming early and often in the first quarter. Knicks lead by 7. And back in a moment as we'll get underway with quarter number 2. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And what stands out to you from New York in this one?
Just the start they're looking for in this game. Solid offensively through the first.
Very crisp and sharp. Not much stagnation at all on offense.
On the court for the Pacers as our second quarter gets underway. They've got Paul George Hill out there with Ellis. Then it's Turner. And it's Hill in the power forward position.
And one bright note for the Pacers last season was the play of their bench. Adding Rodney Stuckey was a huge boost for them.
Porzingis. And he caught that pass in full stride on his way to the big slam. Hill against Calderon. Outside Hill. Over in the corner, Ellis. Shot clock at 6. Indiana needs to get a shot off. No good on the triple. New York leading by 12. Thomas kicks to Aflalo. That one falls, coming off of Thomas's feet. 10 points for Aaron Aflalo.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And on the flip side, Greg, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior. They've got to offer more resistance here.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over. One thing about Jose Calderon, you could see the frustration in him last season, playing a career low 42 games, and his averages were down pretty much, Greg, across the board.
Yeah, and Kevin, he was brought in to kind of invigorate the Knicks' point guard position, but following a preseason calf injury, you know, he missed the team's first 13 games and never was able to really get going. Remember, coming into a new system where he had to learn how to play differently, and then after all that, you know, you have to shut him down because of that left Achilles.
Some changes for Indiana. Mahinmi's checked in for Turner. Glenn Robinson III comes in for Jordan Hill. Young is subbed in for George Hill. Kicks it out to Ellis. On the wing, George. He's guarded by Calderon. Back to George. They need this. No good. The Knicks go the other way with it.
And getting back to Jose Calderon, he's been an extremely efficient shooter for a point guard. 48% from the field throughout his career. But last season, he couldn't hit it at all. I mean, he dropped down to 41%.
Goes up. And George with the stuff.
Superb playmaking from Monte Ellis. That dish was right on time.
Anthony with it. Mahinmi on him. The layup missed.
And, you know, on the topic of Jose Calderon, his game is predicated on getting others involved. Last season, he had Carmelo Anthony to throw it to, and really pretty much no one else. So defenders could key on him a little more, causing him, I thought, to become just a little less efficient.
Young dishes to Robinson. To the inside. And stolen by Aflalo. And here they go. And Thomas with the stuff.
And unfortunately, we've seen a few too many of those. A lack of concentration and alertness, a turnover, and an easy bucket the other way in transition.
And really a few more of those, and this game could be over.
And a fast break now for the Knicks. Aflalo's running. And the shot is good. Aflalo's got the lead up to 14 now for the Knicks.
I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen throughout. Just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively turning into quick points.
And that can't continue. I mean, if they hope to get back in this game, I mean, it's really deflating from a morale standpoint. They need stops and points, not turnovers.
Shots good from Young.
Shooting lots more threes here in the second.
And given their percentages, I'm not sure that's a good idea. They struggled to connect from the perimeter.
You know, for Carmelo last season, it was Murphy's Law. What could go wrong did go wrong. After signing Melo to a max deal, the Knicks management expected a bunch from him. but with the new offense and a bad knee, it didn't happen.
And getting back to Carmelo last year, that team really became devoid of talent. In some games, Greg, in games that he played, he seemed like their only scoring option.
You know, we talk about needing a big three to compete for a championship, and for over half the season last year, the Knicks basically had a big half. I mean, because Carmelo missed that half, and when the deck is stacked against you like that, sometimes it's better to fold your cards and live to play another day, and that's really what Carmelo did.
Calderon kicks to Anthony. 11 feet away, and he knocks down the jumper. Anthony's got 4 points in the quarter.
And really, it looks like he may just try to take this thing over on his own and really build that lead up.
Kicks it out to Ellis. And it's a defensive 3-second violation.
And right before Carmelo went down with the injury last season, it seemed like he had added the fadeaway to his game, molded a little bit after Dirk Nowitzki.
A different look for New York. Kyle O'Quinn is checked in for Lopez. Lance Thomas comes in for Carmelo Anthony. And Langston Galloway subbed in for Jose Calderon. Indiana also making some changes. Hill, he's checked in for Paul George. Robinson comes in for Ellis. Young is subbed in for George Hill. Carmelo's reasoning was that he had been burned enough by Dirk's fadeaway, he had to adapt.
Yeah, that's a great fadeaway to borrow from, for sure. I mean, Melo already has a mid-range game, terrific mid-range game, and this shot makes that even deadlier.
Hill kicks to Robinson, and O'Quinn sends it back. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession.
Checking in for your Knicks, Sasha Vujacic.
Young for three. No good on the buzzer beater. That'll do it for the first half. New York ahead. They lead by 13. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after this break. And we welcome you back to more NBA action. Players looking hydrated and plenty of Gatorade to help them get their job done tonight.
Been a stellar outing in this one for Aflalo. 12 points. He has been the definition of a thief with all those steals.
And Clark, defensively, he has played this game just so intelligently. I mean, he hasn't let them get away with any loose passes or sloppy ball handling.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first two quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. We've seen Aaron Aflalo really having a great game.
And he just went off in those first two quarters, guys. He's capable of doing that on a consistent basis as well. So we might see some changes from a defensive standpoint as they try to disrupt his rhythm in the second half.
You know, guys, I think you've got to make some sort of change. I mean, they can't let him continue to torch him up like he has been.
Porzingis is out there with Robin Lopez. Then there's Grant. Then it's Derek Williams. And it's Galloway in the two-guard spot. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Kurt Rambis.
And guys, that's his game. I mean, battling in the paint and cashing in on those second-chance opportunities.
And Greg cashing in hard. I mean, man, oh, man, he puts an exclamation point on that dunk.
Yes.
Guys, that's the only way he knows how to do it. Soft, I don't even think is in his vocabulary. Boy, he threw out some punishment with that two-hand throwdown.
And Clark, now's the time to do it. Continue to attack that rim.
Hill kicks to Budinger. It's back to Hill. And it's sent back by Lopez. And now the Knicks on the break. And Williams slams it in. He has a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
That could very well be a contender for Dunk of the Year and perhaps might make its way all over the internet.
I tell you what, that is the crowd pleaser of all crowd pleasers.
And the Pacers call time here.
Robin Lopez, last season, he missed about 6 weeks with that broken hand, but freak injuries aside, he's been pretty durable over the course of his career. Had played in all 82 games the previous 2 seasons.
And some changes here for the Pacers. Paul George comes in for Turner. And Glenn Robinson III is subbed in for Chase Budinger. And George, here we go. That's good. George has got 10 points.
Getting the half off to a good start here already with some penetration. Just Mr. Reliable again here today, Kevin. I mean, they need his points, and he's producing.
From 10 feet out. And now the Knicks on the break. Pushing it up. Porzingis can't hit.
Oh, you've got to be able to deliver when you get a bunny like that. That's just too easy of a shot to miss.
Out to the wing. And he's going up for the alley-oop. And the jam by Derek Williams.
A little bit of a magic act here, pulling off the Houdini to make that catch and slam.
Stupendous alley-oop.
I think the crowd is still stunned by that one.
Flying high and throwing down the hard one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys.
And really, he does that one as well as anyone. Kev, you're right. That's like his signature move once he goes airborne.
Hill passes to Robinson. Ellis outside. George with no one around. Offline with his 3.
Boy, they're fortunate. The defense was taking a big chance, leaving him that wide open behind the arc.
They just can't miss. Everything they put up, it seems, goes in.
You know, sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. They are certainly the bugs tonight. Nothing going their way.
And I'm not even sure that I want to be the windshield.
No, maybe the windshield wiper.
Yeah right.
Yeah. Turner's checked in for Glenn Robinson III.
Boy, oh boy, to be young again. My, oh my. Got me thinking back to my days.
Oh, yeah, right. It does make you nostalgic, doesn't it?
Well, speak for yourself, because I could never throw it down like that, but I will say it sure looks fun, doesn't it?
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
I mean, that can happen to anyone, but it's ugly every time it does.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, embarrassing. He just lost his concentration for a split second, and that's all it took.
Now, Clark, that is just ridiculous.
Absolutely filthy. I don't remember
on.
ever seeing a dunk like that in a game. I certainly can't remember the last time I saw one.
I tell you what, fellas, you might not see another one like that one for a while. Outstanding entry pass there. He knew exactly where to go with the ball. First off, look, every year there are all-star game snubs, and perhaps last year Monte Ellis was the big one in the West. Hard to leave him off given the way he played for the Mavs.
And the Knicks decide to take their first time out here. For Monte not being an all-star, there are a lot of guys that could have made an argument to be there. Monte's was as strong as any.
Yeah, and his own coach said that Monte deserved it more than Dirk, his teammate. And not a shot at Dirk by Carlisle, just Rick expressing how valuable Monte was to the Mavs.
Carmelo Anthony, he's checked in for the Knicks. Shoots the 3. New York calls timeout.
Knicks fans, these are your Knicks City dancers. Go on and give it up.
Aaron Aflalo, he's checked in for New York. Calderon comes in for Grant. Indiana also making some changes. Mahimi's checked in for Turner. Solomon Hill comes in for Hill. And it's Budinger in for George. Anthony kicks to Williams. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
And the D was there, but it just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Not against an athlete like this guy.
You're so right, Greg. The defense needs to be more than just there. I mean, he has to be perfect.
Well, when he gets a head of steam up, going to the rack, he's just about unstoppable.
And he's been the catalyst all game long. Love how he's distributing the basketball.
No doubt about it, Greg. I mean, when the offense runs through him, it's really smooth.
And he gets it to go. New York leading by 15. Here's Anthony. And it's sent back by Hill. And it's out of bounds. They say it was last touched by Hill. New York calls timeout.
Your Nick City dancers, go on and give it up.
There's 10 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's Anthony. There's the killer two-handed slam.
Fellas, that two-hand monster slam was vicious.
I don't think there was anyone, and I mean anyone, that could have stopped him on that one.
I tell you what, I'm glad they didn't try, because somebody might have got their feelings hurt.
The Pacers have gone 3 of 4 at the free throw line tonight. No good on the second free throw. New York calls timeout.
Yeah, maybe a change of the game plan right now, looking at some different sets because of the matchups.
Yeah, I agree with you, because they're looking to tweak things to maybe get those matchups working in their favor.
On its way from a follow for 2. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. Knicks lead by 16. And time to step aside quickly, but we'll be back in no time with the start of the fourth quarter. Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. And a look at the 5 for the Pacers to start the fourth quarter. Paul George is out there with Hill. Then it's Turner. Then it's George Hill. And it's Ellis at the 2 spot. Anthony dishes to Lopez. To the inside. It's stolen by Hill. They break it out 5 on 3. Hill against Anthony. Porzingis passes to Carmelo. The offensive rebound.
Well, I think the defense got lucky right there. I mean, he's going to make a lot more of those than he misses when he's got that much room.
The Knicks leading by 13. About a minute played here in the fourth quarter. He muscles it in through the contact, and they call the foul. And he's on his way to the free throw line.
Yeah, heard the whistle and then kept his focus and able to still knock it down.
And, Greg, to be able to take the bump like that and maintain control, that's not easy to do. I know you're kind of a little fella, but I was a big guy when I played, so I know how difficult that is. That was impressive.
60, 42.
And now we'll get a perspective here on how the hustle game has been going for the Knicks.
Boy, their hounding, harassing effort at the defensive end, very impressive. And they forced quite a few turnovers as a result.
Yeah, and the other thing they've done since the beginning of this game is score points off turnovers and in bunches. You know what? Tried to step in and cut him off, but just didn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, he was one step late that time, Greg.
Fourth quarter still young, just over a minute play. A nice shot by George.
Excellent communication on the inbound play there, guys. He got in a good position, and the pass was as it needed to be, on time and on target.
The drive by Anthony. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
Pick up by Hill. And here's George for three. It's rebounded by Porzingis. Porzingis has got rebound number 5 here tonight. Here's Anthony. And again, it's New York.
And when they've gone to him, he has come through big time. You got to keep getting him touches.
And the basket by Hill.
And we always talk about making your teammate better. That assist was right on target.
Lopez a screen. Anthony kicks to Lopez. And he dunks it after the pick frees him up.
You know, that's a case there, Kevin, of him making a pass to a spot, and then he let his teammate run right into it. Well executed.
It's deflected. Inside. Calderon. And he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Yeah, they have really owned the interior. You've got to collapse that defense and force them to beat you over the top.
And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty.
And, you know, it's one thing to get the offensive rebound, but then how about the loud bucket he's able to convert?
He was in perfect position under the hoop, Greg. You're right. Once he gets his hands on the miss.
That's exactly why it's important to work hard on the offensive glass, fellas, for chances just like that.
Here's Turner. How's that for an answer? Right back with the dunk.
Good. Just like soup. A little more ferocious, though.
Okay, Clark approves, everybody.
Yeah, but that's how you finish strong. Young fellas wearing the rim out.
8-second violation.